It is Tech Tuesday. Welcome to DG360. Today, we have a special one for you. Now, I went to Phia's channel called the Virtual Reality Show. I went to Thrill Seeker's channel. No new videos. Very, very sad. So I did a little digging because we got to have Tech Tuesdays on the YouTube channel. And I said, like, what would you guys be most interested in, right? And this video came up here and it says how people do it in VRChat. Now, it's an older video, but I think a worthy one. Let's see how people do it in VRChat. Cracker says you know it so well.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Virtual Reality Show, where we talk about any and all things related to virtual reality inside virtual reality. I'm your host, Phia. Today, we're going to go under the covers of what you think you might know about the hidden side of VRChat. As we get started today, I would like to clarify that this video, while educational, is intended for mature audiences. So if you do not qualify as an adult, please go ahead and skip this episode and go watch one of my own Minecraft highlights instead. Okay, we call this value-added gameplay, which the acronym for that is this.
Extreme Vag.
Get your mind out of the gutter. It is only an acronym. Value-added gameplay. Let's keep going with Phia here. Let's see what Phia has to show us.
Let's get started. You may have heard the acronym ERP thrown around casually, but a typical VR user doesn't know exactly what it means to do the deed behind closed doors of VRChat. In this video, I'm going to walk through the process, but make sure you stick around to the very end because what's there may surprise you. But before we dive in headfirst to see what virtual intimacy is all about, I want to make a quick note. When referring to the sacred act that starts with an S and ends with an X in this video, I will be saying FLUNARB to keep the YouTube bots happy. So anytime you hear me say that, just fill in the blanks.
We all love good FLUNARB.
ERP isn't really talked about too much, and a lot of people get quite embarrassed to discuss it. But what it stems from is something quite common. Role-playing is anything but rare in the online world, and I think most of us are familiar with the asterisk nuzzles you, asterisk ooh-woo culture that gets quite the cringy rep, which is likely why those who participate tend to be so secretive about it. The spin of role-playing in VR is that it's much more realistic. You and your partner or partners get to have bodies to inhabit and act as your own. You can then interact with someone much more realistically that way. If you give someone a virtual hug or a high five, then you are engaging in a sort of role play. You can't feel them hug you back or their fist when you accidentally turkey. You just kind of...
But you will with the right haptic equipment. Very soon. Coming to a store near you. Everything you need.
Act it out. ERP is just this, but what you are acting out with someone in VR is FLUNARB. VRChat has an eligibility requirement of 13 years old, and seeing as there are underage teens playing this game, acts of FLUNARB
No kiddos allowed.
At least publicly. When you are switching worlds in VRChat, you'll sometimes see this little warning pop up saying, "Important, these actions can lead to bans. Not safe for work avatars, behaviors, or content in public worlds." But of course, in a private world, adult users can do all the FLUNARB they like. When people engage in ERP, they typically pick out an avatar to dress the part. There's special physics for body parts that can be added to avatars, as well as collision, so that other users can interact with them. Different animations or emotes can also be added as well. You won't find these types of avatars out and about, however, since having one in a public world is strictly forbidden and a one-shot ticket to a quick ban. The best way to obtain them is by uploading the avatars yourself into your VRChat account. There are loads of 3D avatar creators who specialize in these features that are up for purchase or commission. Just like with other custom avatars, having access to the model files.
Is it as big in VRChat as it was in Second Life back in the day, dude? I used to play Second Life, and I was like an advertising dude, and I was like about the Lindens back in the day, and I was trying to figure out the conversion rates between lindens and dollars, and I was going around to like people's lands, their different lands, and like some of them were like crazy whacked out with like advertisement boards with like the craziest XXX stuff you've ever seen in your life. And I was like, man, I feel like I didn't know how to feel. Like I felt like DEF CON feels right now watching. It was like kind of cringy walking around Second Life and seeing all this stuff. You know, part of my mind was actually intrigued by it, but there was a large part that was like, what's going on here, you know? The problem with this is you never know who's behind the avatar, you know? Like, I don't think I could ever get involved in it because, like, I just don't, like, it's too, like, I don't know what's going on behind there, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Then allows an individual to upload the avatar directly to their account for use in these private settings.
I could imagine myself in a club in VRChat, like jamming out, like dancing around, right? Like having a good time. I don't know, like, the voice changers being used. I don't know who I'm approaching with. I'm just like dancing, have a good time. I don't know what's going on behind the avatar at all. I don't have a good read in real life. Christy always says this stuff about me in real life. If I'm like out with her having a good time, perhaps a girl comes, talks to me a little bit, you know, I'm talking, I'm being nice, and Christy like comes up by me, she protects me, you know, you know what I mean? Like Christy protects me from predators. And Christy always saying to me, she's like, you know, that girl was flirting with you, DG. And I'm like, nah, no way. You know, we're just having a conversation. And like Christy's very protective. I love her. She says I have like a really bad radar for this type of thing. You know what I mean? So if like I have this bad radar in real life, I would imagine that in VR, I would be really lost, you know? That's why I never did it in Second Life. I was just like the dude that walked around like, hey, would you like some ad boards and some, you know, I had this place called Really Cool Places, and I would like sell advertising boards and find really cool places in Second Life. And that's what I did, you know, and I'd help people I'd help people who own land, get people to their land for parties and clubs and stuff like that. And I had a really good time doing that. And I got to get to know people, right? But I don't know if I could take it to that next step. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So while having a Flunarb-ready avatar is great, it doesn't stop there. For
Right,
an
Hugh.
immersive experience, ERP enthusiasts will often purchase full body tracking, as it allows for a more accurate and realistic role-playing experience.
Right, fingers right,
But what
dude.
I'm going to talk about next will blow your mind.
Okay.
You might think part of the ERP experience is just not being able to feel the touch of another user and accepting that. However, there are some people who have something called phantom touch, where their brain interprets
Thank you,
touch
Avenger.
inside of it without actually requiring sensory stimulus. I won't dive
Which
too
one
far
did
into
you
this topic
buy?
today because that is a whole episode all on its own, but it's important to note that for a select group of people, phantom touch does extend to acts of Flunarb. Most
And the
people
no-no
don't
spot.
have phantom touch, but there is a pretty impressive alternative, and this is where I think the conversation takes a sharp turn from being roleplay into being something way more intense and realistic.
Me.
There's a technology out there called
The experience of
telepresence that
DG.
combines the idea of telepresence and Flunarb activities. Telepresence
There'll
is
be new
when
merch
you have
also in
a set of
September, by the way.
technologies that, when stimulated, sends that
Thank you,
stimulus
thank you.
information to another corresponding technology in a remote location. So, yes, it sounds crazy, but it works exactly how you think. There is a male and female equivalent
What's up,
that is able to
Half-Sack?
sync up via smartphone app from the
You
company
did.
Love Ends. While this technology is marketed towards long-distance couples, VRChat users have picked it up and created an entire hookup culture around it. With a small amount of internet digging, or with the right connections, you can find huge Discord servers entirely
That's crazy. People made an industry out of this. Like in Second Life, there was this dude that made these pose balls that you could do all these different like sexual positions and stuff, and he made millions off of it. There was another dude that made these sex beds, and he made millions off of it. So he just took his lindens and he converted it over to real life dollars, man. It's huge. It's huge. It was in Second Life. It's crazy, man.
dedicated to ERP.
Oldest
and
industry on the
finding
planet for sure,
partners
Avenger.
it. Then they'll sync up their special Levins tools and flu-narb the night away.
Oh, hey.
People will stop at nothing to get their needs fulfilled, and flu-narb in VR is just about one of the closest replicative experiences someone can get of it. This is just the tip of the iceberg for the future, as one of the driving forces for innovative technologies is and always has been flu-narb. I hope you feel educated on doing the dumb diddly deed inside of VRChat, since, like I said before, a lot of people just don't talk about it. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the virtual reality show channel for a new
has them, but I'm just saying, good job, Phia.
Don't forget to follow my Instagram and Twitter, and if you're feeling extra generous today, then please check out my Patreon to help support the show.
I'm just saying, she has balls.
Once again, thanks for watching. I've been your host, Phia, and I'll see you on next week's episode.
Well, congratulations.
Bye.
Okay. And you know, a lot of people are uncomfortable about talking about that type of stuff. But I will say this, there are a lot of people that can't have those experiences in real life, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's there for people that can't physically have those experiences in real life. And that's also for people that have like serious issues out in public or anxiety, and this could be like a stepping stone for them. This could be like a medical thing. So I'm not making fun of it for that at all. I think that's a healthy thing, but it's just nothing I don't think I could do, you know? Like I grew up in the 90s. I basically just went out and experienced reality, not VR, just R, because I'm R-rated. And I would just talk, you know, like I would just talk. And I was also in the metal scene. I was, I'm a guitar player. I'm a very social creature normally. Back in the day I was. So like if you're somebody that has the ability to do these things in the real life, I would say do that. If you're anxious or nervous, perhaps this would be like a stepping stone for you to try it out. I don't know. But for me, I mean, I guess I just grew up in a generation where we didn't have all this technological wonderment, and that's just basically made me go out and do in the R world, you know. So, but I do like this topic. I think it's an interesting one, and you know, hey Phia, good for you. I mean, I think that takes, like I said, some balls. So, all right, let's go, Pepe. Let's get to the next thing.